And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for sticking with me, Duke CT. It is a very, everyone has a bit of a, issues and everything else. A lot of people Dynasty. There was some good stuff on Dynasty, you know, that sort of stuff. Some good things and some bad stuff. But well, you know, let's see if I can get this pictures and everything else. Gosh, Kim. Well, let's see. Well, I can do this. Well, this is on the site, so I think it's probably good enough to do it. So let's just do it. All right. Sharing it. Share the screen. And there we are. Can't get the pictures up there for some reason, but all right. Anyway, this, my friends, the Death Riders storyline. Oh, Dynasty. The good, the bad. It was a good show. It was a good show, and I liked it. Then the main event. Well, I thought the main event was actually, starting really good. They got second gear, third gear. You had all the interference and everything else. It looks like, I mean, heck, you got the dead eye by, and such. It looks like it could happen. There's something that Swerve is going to do it. Swerve is going to finally be champion. And then, oh, you two idiots. Oh, those young bucks. Oh, Lord, the Young Bucks. Ah! Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. You know, uh, and I'm just going to say this. I was humped by doing this. Maybe they're going to try to just drag this Death Riders thing for months and months until, either I thought it was going to be Darby coming back and, climbing his thing, which a lot of people think it's going to happen at Wrestle Dream. Those are my two options. Swerve wins it here, or he loses it at, then he wins it to Wrestle Dream. But now this stuff here, it just confirms that pretty much it looks like it is. But then again, maybe Will Ospreay is going to do it, which I wouldn't be. Oh, I would be fine with Will Ospreay and such. I'll be fine with it, but I'm like, man, I want Swerve. I wanted Swerve. I wanted Swerve to actually just get that cool stuff there. Because, hey, a Swerve versus, then again, if I really want to go for you, I wanted Powerhouse Hobbs. I wanted Powerhouse Hobbs to beat Moxley and just have Moxley, rematch at Revolution. Hell, make it a three-way with him, Edge, Cope. Yeah, no, G Nation. Yeah, 3 more months of this. Oh God. Yeah, 3 more months until otherwise. I hate that. But I was wanting to have Cope. My thing is this. Powerhouse Hobbs beats Moxley at that Dynamite. Then he faces Cope and Moxley in like in a 3-way, and he stacks him. Like how Roman did. Then you have Swerve versus Powerhouse. I think that'd be good. Or him and Ricochet. I don't know. Do that. Maybe build that up. I mean, you can have Powerhouse Hobbs beat Swerve. Have him dominate and win. I don't know against. Let's see who's available. I don't know. Let's see. Mark Briscoe. I don't know. Have him. Maybe have him face Jericho and have him beat him in 2 minutes, and then that sets up for him versus Brian Keefe or something like that. Just have him hold that belt until after All In, and maybe hold that to Wrestle Dynasty. You can have the return of Jay White beating or something, and have Jay White versus Darby at like Revolution or something. You can do that. You could do something like that. Have Hobbs. That would have been a big star moment. That would be nice. Wouldn't that be great? Powerhouse Hobbs in that main event. A Swerve in that main event. Instead, it's Death Riders, and oh Lord, we're gonna keep going over and over and over again. And now we got the Young Bucks here, which is, by the way, they basically were the ones behind everything with the Death Riders. So yeah, That's what they were doing, and that's what it is. And I'm like, fine. I just hope this is over with, and then we can all move on. Because everything else in Dynasty, I liked. I liked. There are some stuff here, and there it is. It does. At the end of the day, it's drawing numbers. In fact, combined with Max's streaming and the numbers on recently over 600,000, they're getting over 1 million people watching the show. So guess what, man? We're going to be just sitting back here. But at least I'll say this. Once the Death Riders are done, there's not going to be a Death Riders wolf pack. There won't be a Death Riders, elite. There won't be a Death Riders version 3.0 or whatever. Because I feel like once this is done, it's done. But you know what? It is that frustrating part of it, and I really want to. But yeah, here's the thing: there was a lot of stuff here. I mean, to cast. By the way, to Swerve in Static Shock. This is probably the closest thing we ever get to a Static Shock movie or anything in live action. How sad is that, people? But anyway, get on that, James Gunn. Anyway, but there's other stuff there. I mean, the 3-way was great. This was actually pretty good as well. Bandito thing was nice. It just lasted too long. I think could have done either. I mean, the Protostar and Mark Briscoe, good stuff here too. Surprise victory by Tony Storm. I think they're leaning up to maybe Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné. Maybe that's going to be the big thing at All In, which I wouldn't mind that. That's a big match. You say that's not a big match, but that is the big match right there. I know people love Athena, but that is that is the depth of the women's division. You can have so many major matches. That's depth, real depth, and I think that's good. And also, Cope getting killed by FDR. So yeah, and Death Riders. I hope Pac is not as injured as he says he is and such. I hope he's healthy and such. And also Kevin Knight versus Will Ospreay. Great stuff. I think Kevin Knight is someone good, and I think him. They still have the TV title thing, if I remember watching Ring of Honor. Him and AR Fox were tied for the TV or for no one contendership for a TV championship match because the time limit expired. So, are they going to come back to that? Because I think if they do come back to that, I think that would be a great way to have a nice do a 3-way dance at Supercard of Honor with Kevin Knight versus AR Fox versus Commander, and just let them go basically act like it's basically WCW 1997-98 and just have one hell of a match. Oh yeah, it's dead. The Blade movie's gone. That Blade movie is dead. We all need to realize that. Yeah, the Blade movie is gone. The Blade movie is gone, and it's and I blamed all that on Kevin Feige, man. Couldn't do all this stuff, man. So yeah. It's just like that. It's just all messed up. But yeah, overall, like I said, Dynasty was good. The only real bad match I think this was decent. It got better later, and I think at the end of the day, I think Julia Hart is good, but she's young. She will probably get better at time. So yeah, I think after a year, 2 years from now, I think Julia Hart will be that next level women's competitor. But yeah, overall, I said Dynasty was a good thing. Was good, but yet the main event is just dragging. But maybe that's the internet, and I could be wrong. But yet that's the issue of AEW is that they have like 10, they go 5 feet forward, they go 10, they go like, man, they got all this stuff. All the divisions are popping. But the problem is, well, it's always something. I'll just one of these days the main event is going to do it. One of these days, they're going to get everything is going to be clicking into the right cylinders, and then But then, if that does happen, the grifters will probably have to find something else to talk about. Oh gosh, there's going to be something else for the grifters to do. But anyway, yeah, I think it's 6 out of 5. Fair. I think that's a fair thing. But the ending, and the length too. It started at like 6 o'clock, the pre-show, ended at midnight. Okay, there needs to be a discussion about how long these shows at AEW had. They need to cut some of this stuff down because it drives me crazy. In fact, the only time I watched a live pay-per-view that was really good and not worry about the time constraints was when I was in Vegas a couple years back for Double or Nothing. I'm like, it's on the East Coast. It's on the West Coast, baby. I'm good. I'm good. I'm like, hey, I can still go out and get something to eat. But if I do that like the East Coast, I'm like, shh. The only thing I can get something maybe a 7-Eleven or something, even or a Denny's. But yeah, the length is too long, and it's still, like I said, people saying it's the worst. I'm like, no, it's not. The worst AEW show, pay-per-view, World's End 2023. No debate about it. The card was just so bad. It was like the only two good matches were the old guys, and everything else felt like everything was just terrible. That show was bad. Bad. And I just did not like it. It was probably one of the worst shows, and it took a while for them to get back on their feet. So yeah, overall, like I said, I hope Pac is good. I hope he if he does everything else. And oh yeah, Saturdays, yes. And then they could do Collision like on Fridays or Thursdays, whenever. I think that should be it. Pay-per-views on Saturdays and such. I agree. But that is that's not gonna happen for AEW for a while. So the next one is All In. Hopefully I get to go to All In. If I do, I'm trying to go the whole week. They're trying to do a WrestleMania type week. They're gonna have StarCast, they're gonna have all the other shows a little around it. So that's the hope. I was gonna try to go to the Friday show of New Japan thing over in Chicago, but a lot of stuff happened, so I couldn't do that. But then you know what? Next year, I truly do. I want to do that next year because I was just like, yeah, I can do that and have a little bit of fun too. That's the hope. But anyway, that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being here. Thank you for listening, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. Anyway, peace and love. I will see y'all when I see y'all later.